It's such a dark day today, but I've just done a little bit of journaling. I backfilled yesterday's page in the one because I didn't do it yesterday night because I was crocheting and drawing before going to bed. And then I've been doing this thing every once in a while. I only skipped the third so far this month, where I do a bit of journaling in the morning in my traveler's notebook, just kind of setting some intentions for the day. It's very loose, it's not quite as intense as like morning pages. That's never really worked for me. I just find it stressful, but as you can tell, they're like varying length, and it's a good way to check in at the beginning of the day, a bit kind of going a bit beyond just a to-do list. So I like it, and I think the plan today is it's a very dark, very cloudy, kind of raining on and off day. So I'm not going to go out. I don't have any errands to run anyways. So I'm going to do a bit of thesis work. I have a title. I don't think I mentioned it yet because it only got like finalized yesterday evening, but I have a title for my thesis. I'm so relieved by that. And so I am going to be approaching my work this morning with newfound motivation that really hasn't been in here the past couple of days. And then I really would have liked to film the July and August wrap-up because I didn't film one in July because there was very little to see, and also then I went away. But I've backfilled everything, and there's a good bit of pages to see for August. So I wanted to film it, but because it's so dark, I don't know if I'll be able to. I think I would also really like to have a long drawing session in the afternoon. I have been drawing every day this week, but I haven't filmed it. I've been drawing in the evening, and I've been working on that project that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that I won't really be sharing until I think early to mid-October. So that's been going really well, but I haven't really been filming it. And I think today I would just like to have a bit of a longer drawing session. I might work on that a bit, but then I also want to do some ink drawings in my sketchbook. And I also need to decide kind of what I want to bring with me for next week in terms of projects. I think there's going to be a lot of reading next week because I'll mostly be at the beach, which I didn't really go to the beach when we went to the seaside a few weeks ago. But I'll mostly spend my days there, so there will be a lot of reading, I think. So definitely will bring some books, my journals, probably my crochet, because I'm really into it. I don't think I've showed you, I started with the yarn that I bought yesterday. I bought this really beautiful, like, terracotta coloured yarn, and I've started a little t-shirt basically. So this is the neck, and then you do increases at the sides. But it's been going really well. I did this yesterday night. I don't have stitch markers, so I'm using safety pins. I bought really pretty gold safety pins because I used them as earrings when I went to one of the concerts that I went to this summer. So I don't think I'll have enough yarn, unfortunately, but I'll go and get more if I don't have enough, but I've started working on this. We'll see where I get with that. And I kept the tag. I think I might start keeping tags in maybe at the back of the weeks, or potentially in one of the new inserts once they arrive and I set them up. They've been shipped, so I'm going to finish this one first. I think this will last me through the end of this week, and then next week while I'm away I've also printed some pictures for some things that I want to journal about while I'm away. And then once I come back, hopefully those will have been delivered, because I don't think they'll arrive before I leave, and then I can set those up, and I'm going to try to film that. So that's the plan for today. Hopefully I just want to have a quiet little day, but I want to be satisfied with it at the end of the day. I was satisfied with yesterday, but I didn't really do any thesis work, and I do need to get on with it, but I wasn't in the right mindset to do it yesterday, and I think today is going to go a bit better. Good afternoon. I am back from the hairdresser. My hair feels really short. It isn't. I just got a trim, really. I'd been putting it off for months, but it had to be done. But I feel like now that I am growing my hair long again, because I had maybe 2 or 3 years where I kept it quite short. I had quite a short bob for a couple of years, and then I kind of gradually grew it to my shoulders, and I feel like I kept that there for a while. But now that I'm growing it long again, I feel like I'm back to like 13-year-old me that had hair like just a bit shorter than this. I think this is probably the longest I grew it at that time, and then I chopped it to my chin. But I feel like I'm back to that era where every time that I went to the hairdresser, I was like, please cut as little as possible because I just want to keep growing it. I did just say cut whatever needs to be cut. I only go to hairdressers once a year, so it's just make it worth it. I'm probably gonna go back next month actually, to just get a fringe trim. I normally cut it myself, but for graduation it would be quite nice to have not so wonky a fringe as I normally do. I also just have a little bit of time now before I head out again to go with my mum to the florist to look at flowers to choose my bouquet for graduation, and also my bay leaf crown. It's tradition in Italy that when you graduate from university, you get a bay leaf crown, and they kind of weave flowers in with it. Is that how you say it? But basically, I've got to go pick that. I had a look at thesis colours earlier this week. I don't think I filmed it, but I knew that I wanted to go for a white cover, but they had a few options, and I think I've settled on one, and then I'm going to go with bronze foiling for the text. So that's kind of, the florist is kind of the last thing that really needs to be settled, and we're a bit early for that because it's going to be in over a month, nearly a month and a half, but I'd rather just get it settled now. I think I'm going to go white flowers, and then for the bay leaf crown I'll try to get a bow in the back as close to the colour of my dress as I can, and then I'm also doing titles within my thesis in the same colour of my dress, so everything matches. I'm prepared. I'm really kind of excited about that. My best friend did it when she graduated in July, and that was very cool. Anyways, didn't mean to ramble on about that for so long. All that to say, got my hair cut. I'm glad that I finally made time to do it. It feels really nice that the ends kind of just needed a trim. Now, what I actually just wanted to share, and the reason I turned the camera on, is that I've kind of been thinking, because I've been thinking for a couple of weeks that I would really like to build a daily drawing habit again. And by that, I mean a drawing habit, or like an artistic practice where I do actually practice multiple times a week with a certain regularity, and where my art practice is just a part of my daily routine. I think I would really like to get back to that point. I think for a while, especially in high school, I was definitely doing that. It's how I learned in the first place. And I feel like for a while now, I haven't really had that. It's been an odd few months anyways. July was really stressful, and then August I was away on holiday, and I just really needed to rest. And I did draw a lot. I have been drawing a lot. I think I've not been filming a lot of it, but I think I have been drawing, and I have been really enjoying working in the sketchbook. I've not done too many pages. I've maybe done like 10 pages in here, maybe not even, but they have been very enjoyable, 10 pages. And I think the page that I did this morning and that I shared probably took me 15 minutes. And so it's definitely something that I'm looking down because I'm looking at it. It's definitely something that I could incorporate at some point in my day, and I've just been doing a lot of thinking about how I could potentially go about doing that, because I start lectures again as soon as I come back from the seaside, basically the start of the week after that. But I have a really good timetable. I'm only going 4 mornings, which is great. That is the most amount of free time that I have had in like my entire university career so far. I have a free day. I have a free Monday. That is like incomprehensible for me. I've never had a free day so far in like university timetables, so that's very exciting. But it kind of means that because I have lectures in the morning most days, I can't really incorporate that as part of my morning routine or do that before I start work. So it would kind of have to be at some point throughout the day, either right after lunch before I start work in the afternoon, or when I finish work in the afternoon before dinner. I don't want it to be after dinner. After dinner is like sacred free time for whatever I want to do. And that may include art. I have been doing a lot in the evenings this week, but I want to do some of my art as part of my daily routine, whether I want to do it in the evenings during my extra free time or not. I am thinking that because we're going towards winter and autumn and the days are getting shorter, they're getting so much shorter. It's so like evident. I love autumn. Autumn is my favorite season, but I love the long days in summer. It really is something where you're like sitting in the garden at 10 p.m. having an ice lolly and it's still bright outside. It's just something else. You do then have mosquitoes biting you all over, but we can ignore that in favor of the sun being up at 10 p.m. But I'm really glad that autumn is starting to show. There's already lots of like orange leaves around and I'm very excited about that. We also had a very autumn themed week. It was very, very like cloudy and gloomy and very much autumn weather. It felt a bit kind of like late September, and it was very nice. I also baked an apple cake, which is an autumn staple, and it was great. But I think because of that, the best choice might be to try to incorporate it right after lunch before I start my work for the day. I think that might be the wisest choice, because then I'll want to film it, and if I do that at like 7 p.m. before dinner, there's not going to be any light left and I'm going to be sad that I can't film it. Not to say that I'm going to film necessarily all of it, but I do want that to be the option, and I want that to be something that is just part of my routine at like a set hour, something that I look forward to, that I know is incorporated into my day, just as having lunches or like brushing my teeth or whatever. I feel like a few artists have like talked about that in recent videos. I was watching a couple today, so I don't know what's going on, but we're all thinking about daily drawing practices at the moment apparently. But I was kind of thinking of that, and then alongside it, because I was thinking that like today's practice really only took me like 15 minutes at most, which is very doable. But then it's like 15 minutes of this, and it maybe takes me another like 15 minutes of journaling at the end of the day to kind of like talk about my day in the hon and maybe catch up in my traveler's notebook as well. And now that I'm going to have multiple books in the traveler's notebook, just it's kind of going to be a bit more split. And I think there's going to be more of those kind of check-ins in terms of my art practice as well. I really want that to be something that I think about more regularly. And so I was just kind of thinking about how to fit that all in together, and I don't know, it would be really nice to just be able to take an hour to dedicate to all of that. But I don't think that's really going to happen, because if I want to do my art in the middle of the day and then I want to do my journaling at the end of the day, that doesn't really work, so I might have to split it. I don't know, I'm kind of still figuring it out, but I wanted to put the thought out there kind of for accountability purposes as well. I'm trying to build a daily drawing practice, or as daily as it can be. I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't draw 7 days a week. I think it's more likely that it's going to be 4 or 5 days, but I would be really, really happy if I could build a consistent habit of drawing 4 or 5 days a week. Because I feel like at the moment there are a lot of weeks where I draw every day, and there are a lot of weeks where I don't draw, and there's a lot of in-between weeks as well, where I maybe draw for 3 hours one day and I don't draw at all another day. And it's very all over the place, and I feel like if you're doing that with the right mindset, having a sketchbooking habit and a routine of practicing art is really, really important and really valuable, and I feel like I haven't had that in a while and I'm kind of craving it. So just putting the thought out there, but also I feel like I have a lot of hobbies and they just keep growing. This week has made it very evident, and they're hard to fit into a routine. They're hard to fit into a schedule. Like, it's complicated. I don't know, I wish I had the possibility to like keep up with all of my hobbies at the same intensity all of the time, in a way. But also I think it's just meant to be something that comes and goes in waves, and I think that's part of the beauty of it. I think even just within art, there are a lot of mediums that I've tried and a lot of mediums that I feel very comfortable with and I really enjoy, but I haven't picked up in a long time. Oils, for example, like I haven't painted in oils in a year and a half, but I do feel like if I were to pick them back up, I'd be so happy to draw with oil, to just paint with oils, and I'd have a great time. I kind of wanted to do that a couple of months ago, and then I never really did because everything was so busy. And now I don't know if I'm going to do that again, because right now I'm just really feeling the ink. I'm having the best time with it. But oil is still something that I feel really comfortable with, just like watercolor has been. Watercolor was my very first medium, and I've come back to it multiple times, and every time I just really enjoy it. I just feel comfortable with it. I don't know how to explain it, but it's not something new, and I think because I've been making art for such a long time, I now feel like I have a fairly solid foundation that whichever medium I kind of pick at a certain point, I still have that solid foundation to draw from. And so even if it is a new medium and technically something kind of new, it doesn't feel, I'm not starting, I feel like I'm already starting from like a step higher, and so I'm already more comfortable and confident with it. Does that make any sense? I don't know. I was thinking about it yesterday night because it's been really cool with crochet this week. Like I never expected it to improve so quickly. Like there's been so much progress in just a week's time, and I feel like that's something that definitely did not happen with art for me at the beginning. It took me a very long time to learn how to draw, and it took a lot of practice. It took years of practice, and I think I'm still learning, but it's the learning curve is a lot slower. That's not the word that I mean, but I can't think of the right word, but the progress is a lot slower. And I think with crochet, it's obviously going to slow down as well. Like, it's just, I'm sure that it's just a very much a beginner thing, but it's been really exciting, and it's been cool to see how that's different, and how I went from just feeling very confused about everything to feeling slightly less confused and slightly more comfortable with it and just having fun with it, and not overthinking every stitch like I was doing the first couple of days. And I feel like with art, I haven't really experienced that in a while, because even if I'm picking up a new medium, I don't feel as lost with it because I already have a foundation to build from. Does that make any sense? I'm rambling at this point, and I probably, what time is it? 6:15, so I do have to leave in a little bit because I have to find parking, and that is always a nightmare. And I don't want to be late because then the florist is gonna close. So I think I'm gonna get ready and I'm gonna leave. But thank you for sticking around and listening to my rambly thoughts.